Kat and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making lemon poppy seed pound cake. This was not one of the easiest recipes I've ever made to veganize, I have to say, but it was totally worth the many attempts of trial and error it took me to come up with a great recipe. I thought this would be fun to share with you guys, getting ready for the weekend. It's Easter this weekend and spring is here and it's time to have a nice, delicious, healthy, yet naughty tasting citrusy dessert. I really love desserts that are flavored with citrus fruits. I think it's a really good way to have a treat, but it doesn't taste so heavy. So that's one of the reasons why I've chosen lemon poppy seed pound cake instead of just a regular pound cake. Pound cake was always one of my favorite things one of my favorite desserts. So here we go. We're gonna start off with a half a cup of vegan margarine. This is Earth Balance. It's in a stick form. It's been sitting out softening for probably about an hour. You do want to make sure it's really soft, especially if you're using the sticks. I have to say that the sticks are not my favorite thing to use for baking. Especially like if you're making frosting or something, they really don't work very well. I'm just using it because I have it and I want to... Okay, so we're going to just turn the mixer on here. We want to make sure we get this nice and creamy so we can move forward with our other ingredients. Since I'm using the sticks, it's a lot harder. Earth Balance also comes in a tub, which is softer, and it's a lot easier to work with. As you can see, even though I've been having it sit out for a while, it's really not the best for this. But it'll be fine. I'll get it together. I just would suggest using the soft end. So I'm going to turn this off a little bit faster, and that's definitely helping to get it creamed a little bit quicker. Even though it took me a lot of tries to get this recipe right, now that I have it down, it's really easy to make. Here we go. It's really starting to get creamy. I think we're ready to add our next thing I'm going to add is 3 tablespoons milled flaxseed combined with a half cup of water. This is a substitution for an egg, okay? Actually for 3 eggs. 1 tablespoon milled flaxseed combined with 3 tablespoons of water is a really great egg substitute, and I use it a lot in my baking. Also, then you have the added benefit of flax seeds in your mix, in your mixture. And flax is really good for you for a lot of reasons. It's very high in omega-3s, it's high in fiber, so it's just a good thing to eat, and if we can sneak it in without noticing, then we have a dessert that's actually health food. One of my goals in life is to make desserts that are actually health food and actually good for you. So I'm just going to start to blend that together. And I'm going to pause and just scrape not only my whisk attachment here, but also the sides of my bowl. There we go. And I'm just going to mix this together a little bit more before adding the sugar. So now I'm going to add 1½ cups organic vegan sugar. Pure dehydrated cane juice is what I typically use for sugar. So I'm going to add half of that, about half of it. And I'm going to start to blend that together. Very nice. Turn it up a little bit. Now I'm going to add a half a cup of silken tofu. I love using silken tofu in baking. I use it in anything that you want to have a nice, dense texture to. It adds a really very rich, it adds a richness to your baked goods. And like I said, it makes them really dense, and for something a little bit heavier, it works really well. You'll probably notice if you look at cookbooks or vegan recipes online, that a lot of these recipes suggest you use soy yogurt. In some of the lemon pound cake recipes I looked at when I was coming up with my own, they suggested using lemon flavored yogurt. A lot of the soy yogurts have some dairy in them. Also, I live in an area where we don't have a lot of specialty vegan markets and stuff like that. So it's a lot easier to find something like silken tofu than it is the citrus flavored yogurts, and I just would rather flavor my baked goods with real lemon juice than a flavoring from a yogurt. And I'm going to just put this extra little pieces. So now I'm going to add the other half of my sugar. So here comes the other half of the sugar. Let this mix itself together. It's one of the best things about having an electric mixer. It really cuts down on the labor intensity. So be sure when you're using your electric mixer that you scrape the sides of the bowl often. Now I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of coconut milk. You can use soy milk or rice milk or pretty much any milk substitute that you want. I really like coconut milk for things like pound cake that are, again, a little bit more rich. Usually if I use silken tofu, I'm probably going to use coconut milk. I don't know if you could tell, but it is a little bit thicker than some of the other milks. My two favorite milk alternatives are rice milk and coconut milk. Those are the ones I use the most. Pretty much always have both of them on hand. Rice milk definitely is more of the consistency of skim milk, whereas coconut milk is more of a 2% or whole milk type of consistency. Okay, so I'm going to start to add the flour now. And I'm also going to switch my attachment here. You have to be careful that you don't overdo it on dry ingredients with this attachment if you have an electric mixer. I know this from experience because I bent it really badly when I first got it and I was just learning how to bake. And I put way too much in my mixer. I have sifted together 1 3/4 cup flour, a 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon baking powder. I sifted those together with just a wire mesh strainer. We're going to put our new attachment on here. Make sure when you're using flour or anything, dry ingredients, confectioner sugar, flour, things like that, that you start off on a really slow speed on your mixer. Here I have the grated rind of 2 lemons. So it's time to add our lemoning flavor. So I'm going to add the grated rind of 2 lemons. And it's just, the peel. So we'll add a really nice lemon flavor to our pound cake. I'm also going to add a 1/2 teaspoon vanilla. So we have that old-fashioned pound cake flavor. 1 tablespoon poppy seeds. We'll get this started going here. So I don't buy lemon juice. I really don't use lemon extract very much. I use real lemon juice. So I juiced. I have an old-fashioned glass juicer. You can see how I do it in my orange cake video, which is on my website. So I use the same oranges of the peel. I grated the peel first, and then I juiced those, lemons. And I have my lemon juice. So I'm going to add 5 tablespoons. I pretty much always have lemons and limes on hand. I think they're really great for just adding a little zest to things. This extra lemon juice I'm probably going to use for a salad dressing later on. Earlier today I made tempeh, kind of Mexican tempeh bowl, and I used lime juice to season that, lime and cilantro. So citrus fruits are something I always pretty much have on hand. You can use them for lots of different things. And this is pretty much good to go. I mean, I'm just going to scrape it and make sure that everything is mixed together, and it is. Should we taste the batter and see? Yum. It's really good. It's really lemony. When I was making this, through my various trial runs with this recipe, my poor mother, she had to try like 5 different lemon poppy seed pound cakes that were so-so at best. And she kept saying more lemon, more lemon, more lemon. She wanted it really tart. I think she's going to be really happy when I deliver her little Easter mini hot cake, lemon poppy seed pound cake. So, okay, so this is my oven to 325. And then I'm going to get my cake pans and I'm going to grease and flour them. So I'll be right here. So I have my mini cake pans. I prefer to make small cakes. That's kind of my specialty. My vegetable oil shortening here. And I'm just going to make sure I get all the little crevices really well. Also use, this recipe does fill up 1 fluted cake pan. You can use a loaf pan as well for pound cake. I think that works really nicely. So I just wanted to say that and let you guys know you can make just 1 regular size cake with this recipe. But I'm going to use the small pan. So just be sure that if you use a regular size cake pan, that you bake the cake for about an hour and a half. Even though your toothpick will come out clean before that, this is a very dense cake, so you want to make sure it's baked all the way through. And most importantly, you want to make sure that you cool it completely before you try to remove it from the pan. Take my word for it, because a couple of times while I was experimenting with this recipe, I tried to take it out of my cake pan too soon and it fell apart. So just make sure it's cooled completely before you try to do that. So now I have all my little cake pans greased, and I'm going to just lightly flour them. And there my oven's preheated. I've typically found that it takes almost the exact amount of time to fill your cake pan, to grease and fill your cake pan, as it does to preheat your oven. So I never turn my oven on in advance. I've always found it kind of funny that recipes always say first, preheat your oven. But I just don't see the sense in having your oven on the whole time while you're baking. Or while you're getting, your cake ready. That just doesn't make sense to me. It seems like a waste of gas. So I just always wait, and it works out just fine. So just trying to lightly flour these so the cake doesn't stick to the bottom. So I always make sure I knock the excess flour out of my cake pans when I've greased and floured them. These are ready to go. And now I'm going to just use a small spoon since my pans are small, and I'm just going to fill them up almost all the way, not completely. This doesn't rise as much as some cakes, but it does rise a little bit. So we want to keep that in mind. Just a note on how to fill your pan. If you're using a regular size cake pan, you're probably only going to have enough batter to fill it like halfway, but it does rise a little bit, so you don't have to worry so much about how high to fill your cake pan if you're using a regular size cake pan. So I'm going to put these in the oven. I'm putting these ones that are, they use a lot more batter. I'm going to put these farther back in the oven. They tend to take a little bit longer. I'm going to set my timer for 45 minutes, and I'm going to check them in about 45 minutes. Like I said, the regular size cake will probably take an hour and a half at 325. So now I'm going to get my kitchen cleaned up while my cakes are baking, and I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, YouTube viewers and vegan consulting readers, you're going to get a glimpse inside my very dirty oven, but I just want to show you how these cakes are coming together, and they have been in here about 55 minutes. I'm going to leave them in another 5. Just my experience with these pound cakes is that they're never quite as done as they look. So I'm gonna leave them in here 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna pull them out. My cakes are done. They look good. So this one we need to find out for sure. And I'm gonna say that one is done. Done. This little guy is done. Yeah. Now, I don't think my 2 fluted cakes are quite done. They look a little doughy in the middle. They're not really golden brown on top yet. And even though my toothpick is coming out clean, I'm going to still leave these in for about 5 more minutes. I'm going to let the rest of these cool completely. And then I'm going to make a really light, simple glaze. It's just going to be a little bit of organic confectioner's sugar, some coconut milk, and a couple of drops of the lemon juice that we have left over from before. So I'm going to whip that up once everything is cooled completely and they're out of the pans, and it's ready to go. Let this stuff cool on the wire rack for probably about a half an hour, and then I'm going to attempt to remove them from the pans, which you'll get to witness. So we'll be back. An hour since I took my pound cakes out of the oven, so they're pretty cool. And I'm going to start to take them out of the pans so they can finish cooling the rest of the way. I can get them glazed, and then we can be on our way. So, wasn't holding that knife very well, but you just want to go around the edge with a knife, being gentle. That's one of the hardest things for me to remember, is to just do it gently. There we go. Look at that. It's going to look really pretty once we add the glaze. Okay, so I'm ready to whip up my glaze. I'm going to take about a half a cup of confectioner's sugar here. This is organic powdered sugar. The organic powdered sugar tends to be a little bit clumpier than traditional powdered sugar, so I would just keep that in mind. It does take a little extra whisking. Then I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons coconut milk. This is an 1/8 teaspoon. I'm just going to add, this is the lemon juice from before, and that's not quite a whole 1/4 teaspoon lemon juice. And I'll see, I may need to add a little bit more coconut milk. Just whisking it together. So we have a nice glaze consistency, but I still have a couple clumps in here. Okay, I think I've gotten all the little cremeux out, so I'm just going to carefully just drizzle this over my cake. Letting it run down the sides. It's really just for effect. It doesn't have a ton of flavor, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's pretty much just sugar. But it really is going to add just a polished look to our cake. And these cakes have a little well in the center, so I'm just kind of spreading it out of the well. And that's looking pretty. Let's see what we can do with the loaf-shaped ones. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, that's not too bad. Check these out. Wouldn't you like to get one of those in your Easter basket? Hey guys, thanks for stopping by my kitchen today. I hope you enjoyed watching me veganize this classic American dessert. The lemon poppy seed cakes turned out great and they're ready to be served up this weekend. If you want some more information about how to veganize some classic American desserts or make some simple, easy vegan meals, please visit my website, www.catshotcakes.com. I have lots of instructional videos and recipes. So, have a great day, have a great weekend, have a great spring, and we'll see you soon.